Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today we are going to learn something different. We are going to learn about the gestures. Tap gesture, the double tap gestures, the long press gesture. Along with that we will also learn the swipe gesture. So all these gestures we are going to learn in this particular video, and we are going to see how we can optimizedly or in an optimized way how we can include that up into our applications, by which we can easily work anywhere we want. Alright, so that is what I'm going to cover up in this particular video. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Let's check this out, how actually it is working. But before that, let me tell you one more thing, that there is a limited period offer that is going on in my Ionic complete course, where you will learn the food delivery application, the customer application, and all of the stuffs from basic to advanced level. You will learn all the things out here. Alright, so you can check that out. It is available on Udemy. It is in the bestseller, and you can check the link in the description where the limited period offer is showing up. So I hope you will definitely like it. Many of you have already enrolled in it, and it is running in bestseller right now. So check this out at once if you want to learn Ionic to a great extent. So with that being said, let's dive into our video right now. So as you can see out here, I have already created a new project, and for that the commands that I have used is, let me just show you, is this particular command. At first I have created the project using this particular command Ionic star, then the project name, then it's a blank project, and it is of type Angular framework. Now after that you simply run Ionic serve and you are good to go. Now in this particular one, what I have done, I have simply gone to the HTML, and out here I have changed the title, and from the Ion content let me remove all the stuff. You might get some other stuff also. I have simply removed few of them earlier only. Now I will remove the rest of them. Okay, so in this particular one you have already come to know that we are going to work with the gesture one. So we are going to work with the tap, double tap, then the swipe one, and the long press one. Now in the Ionic 3 or below that, in the Ionic 2 and 3 basically, we had the option directly in our HTML to pass the click event. Sorry, not the click event, the tap, swipe and double tap or press also. Not the double tap, but press was there. But from Ionic 4 onwards we don't have that feature. For that we have to create our own gestures. That is what we are going to do out here in a certain way that you will find it pretty easy to work with. So let me do one thing. Let me create some buttons, then we will work with the directive this time. So you haven't seen the directive I suppose, but you can have a look out here how to work with the directive. So at first I'm going to have a iron button out here. So iron button, and within that I'm going to pass few properties. This is the class where I'm passing some margin and a block one also. Alright. And what I will name it as, let me just align it properly at first, and I'll name it as tap, okay, or tap gesture will be fine. Alright, that's great. So in this particular manner I'll create 4 buttons, copy, paste, paste, paste. Alright, the second one is gonna be double tap gesture. The third one will be press, long press, let me have it, long press gesture, okay, and the last one will be the swipe gesture. So swipe gesture. Fine, you can see the 4 buttons out here showing up pretty nicely. That's what we are going to work with. And if you're, well, let me not do anything right now. I think this is fine. So now let's work with the directive quickly. So at first I'm going to show you separate things. First one is for the tap one, I'll create a different directive. Then for the swipe one I'll create a different directive. Then also for the long press one I'll create a different directive, but tap and double tap I'll create only one directive. So let me show you how to do that up. So let me quickly create a directive. I will open up another JS shell, and out here I will have a module at first, directive module. So Ionic G module, which I'll name it as directive, okay, and hit enter. Now this will be created. You can see out here this directives folder is created, and within that we have the directives module. Now within this module I'm going to import all the stuff. Let me remove the extra space. I don't need that. Now out here let me create some directive out here. This time I'll have the directive, not the module. So let me just remove the module from here, and out here Ionic G directive, and I'll create it within the directives folder. Then I'll create another folder called tap, and within that I'll create a tap directive. Okay, hit enter. Alright, this is created out here, right? And it is also declared out here in the declaration part. Now in order to use it anywhere else I need to pass an exports also. So exports, within that I'll have an array, and I need to export all these directives. So I'll simply copy it up and paste it out here also. Alright, that's the thing that you need to do. Or you can create another constant out here and pass that constant in this particular one too, where you can have all the array stuff out here. That also you can do. But let me leave it like that for the time being, and let's work with our tab directive. So out here in the tab directive, what am I going to do? At first I'm going to have an output decorator out here called tab. I'll name it as tab property, which will be an event emitter because I want to access that up. Okay, so let me import it quickly. So I'll just do it little quickly because this is a long thing that we need to cover up and I want to show you everything in a short period of time. Alright, that is why I'll be little quick, but I'll explain you. So this is very easy. Output decorator, I have already explained in my earlier videos how to work with that in a component or a directive. This is the first time I think I am showing you the directive, that is why. Not a problem, it's the same thing. So out here we have already done this. Then like I said, I'll be using the double tap also out here, so I'll have the other one for the double tap also. So this is the thing that I need. Then I will have few more properties, which will be, first one will be last tap. Then I will have a tap count, which will be initialized to 0, both of them. And the tap timeout will be null initially because we will be working with this stuff to reset our taps, because we will be counting the number of taps you are making out there. Alright, that is how we will identify tap and double tap also. So that is what we are going to work with. You will come to know in just a few minutes how it can be done. Alright, now after this is done, I need to perform some gestures out here, but that means I need to have some objects by which I can identify, okay, this is the thing that will be mentioned for the tap one and the other one for the double tap one. So these are few features by which we can identify that. Let me just show you. So I'll just have it out here. So this is the tap gesture thing and the name of it is tap. By default it is enabled false. Okay, we will do it manually out here in our ng on init. Okay, and the interval that it is going to take is 250 milliseconds. So in the time period, if someone taps on that, okay, then only it's going to get called. Otherwise that's not a tap, it's a click, because in click if you even press for a long period of time, it gets triggered. That is the difference between tap and click. Now out here for the double tap, I have given a different interval, that is 300 milliseconds, little bit more than the single tap. Okay, I hope you have understood that part. Now once this configuration is done, what next I need to do? I need to work with the functionality now. But before that, let me import or implements out here in interface. I need to use it, which is on init. Okay, imported, and I will use it after the constructor ng on init. Okay, and out here I'll show you what we actually need to do. Now before doing anything else in our ng on init, I need to work with the listeners or handlers by which I can identify, okay, this is the tab, this is the double tap and all of the stuff. So for that I will simply use a function out here. I'll directly paste it. I have already done that up. That is why I told you that I'll be little quick. Okay, so I'll just import this host listener. So basically what is host listener? Well, if you just hover on that, you will come to know that this is a decorator by which we can link to that particular field or the particular button or anything. Like out here we will be tapping or playing around with this particular button, so it's going to listen to that. Okay, that's what it means. So you can just check out here, listens for or provides a handler method to run when the event occurs. So even if we click on that, an event will get triggered and this will accept that particular event, okay, or listen to that particular event. That is what it is doing, and it will listen to the click event, because for tap we are using the click event out. All right, whenever you click on that, that is what we are getting triggered. Now out here we are calling a function called handle tap. So within that we will get the event, and I have created a constant called tap timestamp where I am passing math.floor and will get the timestamp value in a particular format which I need. Now I'll check if is double tap or not. So this dot last tap, which is initialized to 0, plus this dot tap gesture dot interval. So what is the tap gesture interval? We have given it 250 milliseconds. That's what I'm checking. And if it is greater than this tap timestamp, that is why I'm just passing math.floor. So if this condition is satisfied, that means is double tap is available or not. So if it is greater, if this time period is greater than the last tap, okay, that means it is a tap gesture, and if the last tap is 1 or definitely that value is greater than the timestamp, then it's a double tap one. Okay, so it will have simply the true and false value. Now out here it is simply checked if the tap gesture is enabled. Sorry, if the tap gesture is not enabled and the double tap gesture is also not enabled, then I will simply reset the taps. And in the reset taps, I'll show you what exactly I'm going to do. But before that, let me just explain you all the other stuff. So out here I am increasing the tap count, because when you tap it once, then is double tap will be false, obviously, right? At that point of time, when the tap count is increasing, then what is happening is double tap enabled. So if the number of taps is more than 1, definitely double tap will be enabled, right? So is double tap enabled and is double tap true, then only I will emit the taps. Okay, otherwise if double tap is not true, that means it is false. That means there is only a single tap, right? At that point of time, I will have tap timeout will be equals to set timeout, where I'm going to emit this particular emit tap, and I'll pass the interval that I have given in the tab gesture. Okay, that is what it's being checked. So basically I'm playing around with the set timeout to achieve the same functionality out here. Alright, so this is what we are doing out here simply. And finally, the last step will be equals to the timestamp that is being given. So the next time, suppose we are entering for the first time, so last step is 0. Now for the second time when we are entering, the last step will be the timestamp which we have set out here. All right, in this particular manner. Now this particular value out here will be more than the actual timestamp, because definitely we are adding this particular interval also, right? So this will be a double tap, and if you're tapping like 3 to 4 times, definitely it won't be detected out here. All right, that is what it is being doing. So I hope it's clear. It's pretty simple. It's not a big deal. We are just playing around with the conditions. That is it. Now we need to work with this particular functions. So what am I going to do? Let me paste it. So this is the emit taps one. So what am I doing out here? I'm checking for the tap count. If it is equals to 1 and tap gesture is enabled. If tap gesture is not enabled, definitely it's not going to work. If tap gesture is enabled and the count is equals to 1, definitely I'll emit the tab one, right? So this dot tab dot emit, I'll emit this particular event. You can even pass some value also out here if you want. So similarly, if the tap count equals to 2 and the double gesture is enabled, double tap gesture is enabled, then I will call the double tap one, or I will emit this particular event. Otherwise, I'll simply reset the tap. And in the reset one, what am I doing? I'm calling clear timeout because we are using it set timeout out here. So I'll clear that up and then I will initialize it to the earlier value which we have set initially out here. Where is it? These 3 values. Okay, that is what I'm doing it out here. All right. So it's pretty clear now what exactly it's being done. So our directive for the tap one is pretty ready, except one thing. In the ng on it, what I need to do? Well, I need to enable this particular event whenever it is getting triggered. So this dot tap gesture dot enable will be set to true whenever you are entering this particular, or you're using this particular directive. Okay, and similarly this dot double tap gesture, okay, double tap gesture dot enable will also be set to true out here. In this particular manner, I'll align it properly. Fine. So now this is ready. Let's use this up out here in our home one. So what am I going to do? At first, in the home module, if you want to just use the tab directive, definitely you can pass it out here in the declaration tab directive. Okay, but I don't want to do that. That is why I've created this directive modules, because I want to use this module directly, because I'll be showing or working with the other directives also. All right, so directives module and hit enter. It is imported. Now I can simply use it wherever I want. So what am I going to do? I'll go to the HTML and out here, well, in order to use that particular directive, well, I need to pass the identifier or selector. Let me go to tab directive, and out here, what is the selector name? App tab. This is the name. So I need to copy this up, and for the directive in the HTML one, wherever I want this, say like in this particular button I want that, right, to pass to work with this particular directive, then I'll simply pass it up, and then I will pass the event which will get emitted. So out here you can see there are 2 events that is getting emitted. Now this is only for the tap one. You can even pass the double tap also together, but I will only have this one on tap. Okay, an event will get triggered. If you're passing something, it will be detected out here. So let me just simply have this functionality. So now I'll simply have this 4 functions out here, all right, on where I'm just consoling the value of it. So this is ready now. Let me check this out. So what I'll do, I will open this up so that you can see in the console log what is happening. Let me clear it. So let me tap on this and see how it performs. Right, I have tapped on it, and you can see tap undefined because we haven't passed anything out there. So it is working nicely. So I'll double click on that. You can see this is not getting triggered, right? I'll try again. And if I click, okay, this got triggered. I clicked once. I'm clicking twice. Now I'll click once and it is getting triggered. All right. Now what I will do, let me play around with this one only. I will give another thing out here. With tap, I'll give double tap also. Okay, double tap, and on double tap will trigger an event in this particular manner. We have already created the function, so don't need to worry about it. Now let me try this up. Alright, so out here in the console log, let me tap once. It is getting triggered. Alright, I'll double tap out here. You can see this is also getting triggered. Now if I tap 3-4 times, okay, 1, 2, 3. If I'm tapping for the 3rd time, the tap is getting triggered. Okay, so I'm just not pretty much quick. Okay, it is getting triggered. Double tap, it is just getting to the double tap one whenever the double tap is done. So it is getting triggered, and the 3rd one is for the tap one. So that is getting triggered. Alright, I'm single tap. Everything is working fine out here. I'm happy with that. If you are clicking quickly also, well, you are encountering the double tap one. That is why it is getting triggered in that certain time period. So that is fine. You can increase the interval also if you want to. That's pretty okay. So this is working out here, but what I'll do, I'll not have this functionality out here. In fact, I will have this functionality in the double tap, okay? And this app tap, I need to pass it out here also, because if I don't pass it, it won't work. Let me just show you. Alright, so out here, let me just try this up, double tap. You can see nothing is showing up, but if I give this one, let me just paste it out here, hit enter. Alright. Now if I try this up, let me open that up. Alright, now if I double tap out here, you can see this is getting detected, and this one, if I double tap, it's not getting detected. Only the tap one will get detected. If you're clicking 3 times, the third one will be the tap one. So this is working, right? So the tap gesture is nicely done. We are able to implement it pretty nicely, together also and separately also. Now similarly, let me create another directive for the press one. So I'll have out here press/press, hit enter. Now this is created. What I need to do out here, well, at first I will have the ng on init, okay, hit enter. Out here I will have the ng on init, fine. Now in here also I need to do the similar tasks only. So let me just do it pretty quickly. Out here I will have an output property or decorator, and this is the thing that I need. So this is the press gesture, where I have an interval which is bigger than the tap one, okay? So this interval is given and by default enabled to false. The name is press, and these are the fields that is needed for the timeout and other stuff to track that out. Initially the press timeout is null, is pressing by default boolean, because you're pressing for a time period, right? So is the press is still on or not, it will get detected. Alright, last step, tap count, and this is also needed so that I can understand, okay, this is not a tap, this is a press. Now simply import it up quickly, import and import out here. Once that is done, we are good to go. Now in the ng on it, I will simply enable it up. I'll directly write it down because you have already come to know about this thing now. So this will be actually press gesture dot enabled equals to true. Okay, that's done. Align it properly. Now out here, what I need to do, I need to create another function for this one. So this time I will listen to touch started and touch end. So basically whenever you're touching that particular thing, the button, it will start the event, and when it is stopped, then it will track, okay fine, this is the duration and everything. So for that, how am I going to do? I'm going to use the host listener only in this particular manner. So this is how we are going to use that up, host listener. Let me import it up quickly. Alright, this is done. So touch start and touch end, these are the events that I'm going to look for. And when that event is triggered, then this will be called, this function onPress will be called. And out here I've given a condition, if tap gesture is not enabled, then I'm simply going to return. Otherwise, I will call this particular function for handling the pressing, where I'm simply going to pass e.type. You can simply check out here, console.log, what is in the event. Okay, you can even pass the event also out here if you're still confused. Event, out here, event, okay, and out here also event. Fine, that is what I'm going to do. Once that is done, what we need to do next, we need to work with this particular function. So up till here, I hope it's clear. Now I will have this particular function out here. So this is a private function, and out here also in the tab directive also, I have just passed this private function because I don't want to use it anywhere else. Alright, I just need to use it out here. That is why I'm giving it up. And in fact, I need this reset one also. So let me simply copy it and paste it out here, and you can solidly see this function, right? So what am I doing out here? At first, I'm getting the type out here. Okay. So if the type equals to touch start, then I'm simply going to pass the timeout out here, where is pressing will be true and press event will be passed, where I will pass start, okay, with when the interval is being triggered, okay. And if the type is not start but it is touch end, okay, then I will clear the press timeout, and if its pressing is true, then definitely I will emit end and reset the tabs. Okay, that is what I'm going to do. And well, if this condition is satisfied, if this else if is satisfied, then again, if the pressing is not true or something, then I will simply have out here a set timeout is pressing will be set to false at last. If we have or not, that doesn't matter, because we need to set it to false. Obviously, next time we want to use it again, right? So clicks have a natural delay of 300 milliseconds. So we have to account for that before resetting is pressed. Okay, that is why it's being used. That is why it's given as 50, because out there 251 millisecond was the interval for pressing, and 50 is added to that so that it goes beyond the clicking one. So I hope it's clear. So this is the thing that I wanted to achieve out here. For resetting one, it's the same stuff only. Okay, so this event will get triggered now, and you can just have a look at this particular one also out here in the console log. Okay, out here, fine, without. Alright, so once this is ready, what am I going to do? I will use it. Okay, first let me go to the directive modules, and out here I need to pass it in the exports also. Press directive. Done. Now I can directly use it in the homepage HTML. So I'll go to the press one, and out here I need to pass the selector for that. So for the press one, the selector name is where it is app press. Copy it up and have it in the HTML out here. Okay, this is the one. Paste it, and after that I can simply call the press event on press. Function is already created. I'll pass the event out here in this particular manner. Fine, everything is good to go. Now we will work with this particular function. Let's check this out. So I'll open this up. Our console is already ready. So I'll just click for a long press. Let's see what happens. Alright, start. Okay, what's wrong actually? This is a browser, right? Got wrong. Alright, let me try it again. Long press, start, end. That's working. Alright, let me try it again. Start, end. That's working. Again, I'll try start. If I click for a long period of time, it comes up. So start, end. So it is working, right? And out here, what am I getting? This is the event that is getting triggered, and out here you can see the type where it is. This is the types: start, touch start, and touch end. For the end one, we have the type touch end. That is what it is coming up. All right, because we have passed in the listener out here, host listener, this particular stuff. Let me just show you. This is what we are passing, right? That is how it is getting triggered out. So I hope it's clear. The press one is also working. If I will show you one more. I'll go to the console log only out here. I'll clear everything. And now if I tap out here, okay, you can see, okay, if I'm just pressing for a long period of time, then only it is getting triggered. But if I tap out here, okay, touch event is getting triggered. Event is getting triggered, but start and end is not triggered out here. All right, because I'm not coming back to this particular one, home page, TypeScript, double tap. Okay, let me just give out here, press, whether this is getting triggered or not. I just want to show you that part. Okay, so now this is ready. Let's check it out here. Now if I tap on it, you can see this press is not showing up. That is, this one is getting called, this console log. Let me just comment this up and check it again whether this gets called or not. So this time I'll click on it or tap on it. Basically it won't work. Now if I long press it up, start, end, right? That is how it is work. Press, start, end. So it's pretty simple, right? It is getting triggered, but press is getting triggered twice, right? So you need to be aware of that. At what time do you want to pass that particular event? So what I can do is, let me just try it up. I'll go to the I'm already in the directive. What I'll do, the start one, I won't do it. Okay, when it is starting, I won't pass anything. In fact, only while ending only I'll do it. Then what happens? Let's check it out. So I've already opened this up. Now let me go for long press. You can see only once it is getting triggered when I'm stopping that. Okay, when I'm leaving that up, then only it is getting triggered. Otherwise, if I tap on it, it's not getting triggered, right? If I press for a long period of time, now it is getting triggered, right? You can see 4. Let me clear it up and show you once again. Let's try this. You can see only one event is getting triggered. So that is what I want. All right. I hope it's clear now what exactly we are doing out here. So press is also done. Now the next thing which I want to do is swipe. Let's quickly do that up. Swipe. I'll create a directive for that. Swipe folder and create a directive within that. All right, this is done. Now this will be little different because we will be using the gesture controller for that, because we want to trigger something out here. So let's do it one by one in this one. So I'll try with some stuff out here. The same thing only. So let me just paste it. So I'm having an output decorator called swipe out here, which will emit an event whenever we are passing it up. Then this is the basic things that we will be using. These are the properties: name, enabled false, interval. Then a threshold value is given. Now the threshold value is basically the minimum distance before reporting a swipe. That is a swipe. All right. And this is in DP or DIP. Basically density, independent pixels, an abstract. If you want to know about it, you can simply read this out. An abstract unit, which is an abstract unit that is based on the physical density of the screen. Alright, so that is why I've given all the description out here so that you can understand pretty nicely. Now after that, which direction, left, right, top, bottom, which one it is, you can just check it out, because we can swipe from top to bottom also, or from left to right. Alright, these are the things. Then report interval, how much it is, we'll work with that in the functionality, not right now. Then the gesture created and all these things I have just passed out here. We'll work with that while doing the functionality. Alright, once that is done, I need to work with the functionality out here, but I need to implement the ng on init at first. So on init, import it. Then out here, ng on init. Alright, done. Now in the constructor, let me just pass the enabling one. Along with that, I'll pass few other stuff, which is this one. So I will just enable the gesture at first, swipe gesture, and then direction left to right I will give, because we are using a button out here, so I'll give left to right. Whether right to left or left to right, it will work in that particular manner. Alright, so then I will create a gesture. Alright, okay, this should not be done in the constructor, I'm sorry. I'll be doing it ng on init. Fine, out here in this particular manner. Now I will be needing the gesture controller and also the native element or element ref to target that particular native element so that it can get triggered. Okay, fine, this is the button, this is a swipe that is being done, so that is the event which should get triggered on that particular element. And for that, in the constructor one, I will simply have this two stuff. Let me break it down to make you understand pretty nicely. Alright, first is a gesture controller. You can check this out if you want to, and I'll simply import both of them one by one in this particular manner. Imported, update, okay, done, and this is done. Alright, I don't need to do anything in the constructor now. Let me align it. Alright, this is done. Great. Now I simply need to work with this particular function, create gesture. Now this functionality is little tricky for you to understand. Let me just show you one by one. I'll try my best to explain you properly. So if there is no gesture created, definitely you are simply going to return. You don't want to go ahead, right? Otherwise, I have created the gesture controller out here. Okay, you can see out here, this is the method. You can just check it on the internet also, gesture controller, and you will get to know about this. Okay, now out here I've given a gesture name, then the element, which particular element I'm targeting, and then on start what I need to do, and on move what I need to do, and on end what I need to do. I have passed it out here. All right, and in this particular event, at last I'm passing it to a true value. All right, and finally I'll enable this particular gesture, and gesture created I will set it to true, because this gesture will be created at that point of time. Now on start, what am I doing? If gesture is enabled, I'm just calling it gesture, it is swipe gesture. If it is enabled, then is moving is set to true, which we have already passed out here. Is moving set to false initially, and along with that I'll pass a time interval of 249 this time. So swiping one, it is having an interval of 249 milliseconds for starting it up. So after this time interval, I will set is moving to false. Then on move, while moving, what will happen? I'll just check again the gesture is enabled, whether you are moving or not. That's what we are going to check. Alright, then I'll call this particular function this dot handle moving. So it's going to handle moving. Okay, fine, this is moving, which is the direction, what is the duration, and how much is the distance, all that stuff. And on and also it's going to do the same thing. Just the thing is that handle moving, this particular event will be passed. Move and moving. Alright, that's the only thing, and the event will be passed out. Now we need to work with this particular function. Up till here, I don't think you have a lot of problem. If you have a confusion, you can check it in the Ionic framework documentation. Alright, out here in the Ionic framework documentation, let me go to the docs. So where is it? Okay, out here only in the utilities one I'll get it. So let me just scroll to the bottom, utilities, animations and gestures. So in the gesture one, I'll go out here, and in fact out here we can see this particular gesture. You can see this is how it's being done. Alright, so everything is the same thing, only out here. On move, it is working. Similarly, you can check for other stuff also, how it is performing, right? So this is what it's being done out here. Alright, that is what we are going to work. So I'll go back to the application now. So out here I need to have this functionality at first. Now for that, let me just pass this functionality out here. Okay, so this is the handle. Okay, where is it? Handle moving function, which I've considered it as private because we are not going to use anywhere else. Now in here, the move type, it will be accepting that particular argument, along with that the event. Now out here it is first checking whether the move timeout not equals to null, then only it's going to go ahead and clear the timeout, and move timeout will be set to null out. Alright, so it is just checking out here whether the move is completed or not. Now after that, delta x and delta y will be set to this particular event values, whatever we'll be getting out there, then the absolute values. Now out here mat.apps is used, so you can just check it on the internet. Out here I'll simply explain, if you have -1, it will convert it into 1. If you have some value, then it will give you the absolute value in the decimal one also, say like 1.222222, so it will give you the same value out here. That is what we are going to have. Alright, so this is the values I'm getting. Now why these values are being used? To get the threshold thing. Now out here, at first the report interval is being called. So this is the constant that is created, which will take the gesture, swipe gesture report interval, which is initially I think undefined, right? Out here, let me just check it out. Initially undefined, correct. So if it does not exist, then I've given out here that it will take the live one. So it will have something like start or end. Between that there is a life one. I think that was the thing. I just forget. Yeah, start, life, end. That's how it's going to work. Correct. So if this particular value in the x direction is less than threshold 1, alright, and absolute delta y is having value less than the threshold 1, then I'm simply going to return, because obviously the swiping is not being done properly. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and should report or not. Should report basically means that the swipe gesture is completed or not. It's going to report that up. Alright. Now out here is moving is set to true. If it is true, and this particular condition, it's going to check. So what it is checking out here, report interval equals to start, and so out here this condition will also be checked if it is start and swipe report equals to null, or if it is live, or it is end, and that move type equals to move end. Now this move type, well, where it is defined, it is out here, which we are passing it directly from here itself, right? So if these conditions are satisfied, that's what it is doing, then it will simply return true. Out here should report. Okay, that is what is being done out here. So the last swipe report will be equals to event.timestamp. That's what I'm going to check out here. I'm going to initialize it out here, and I'll check out here if this should report is true. That means this particular one is true with this particular conditions. Then I'm going to move ahead and I will create a variable called emit object, where I will pass direction x, direction y to be undefined. Swipe will be the movement or move type which I'm passing, and finally I will pass the event also. Alright, so this will be the emit object which I will be passing, and finally I'll check out here if the absolute delta x value is greater than the threshold 1 and the delta x value is greater than 0, then emit object or direction x is right. Basically I'm checking out here whether the direction is left or right out here. So this is the functionality for that. So you just get a brief description about it, because in order to explain you each and everything will take time. Along with that, this is just an if-else condition. You can understand it up. Why am I doing it? I am explaining you that part. Okay. So this is for the up and down. If you are swiping from up and down, then this will be used. Otherwise, you can simply use this particular absolute one. Alright. Which is from left to right. So which direction you are moving, that is what it's going to get triggered out. Once that is done, what next we need to do? We will create a direction array where I will pass this swipe gesture dot direction, which was initially to an empty array, I suppose. Yes, right. Now out here, if direction array includes emit object or direction x, or it includes direction y, then I will simply emit the swipe object. And if, okay, this condition is where, now if should report is false, okay, then I'll check out here if move type equals to move end, and swipe last swipe report not equals to null. That means it has some timestamp. Then is moving will be set to false and last swipe report will be set to null. So it is basically resetting the stuff. Alright, only if we have certain direction, then only it's going to work properly, and we are going to emit the swipe gesture. That is what it's being done out here. I hope it's clear to you what exactly it's been done. So why we are using this gesture controller out here, just to track this particular gesture, because this is swipe. Alright, it cannot be done pretty easily like the press one and other stuff. So this is what being done out here. Fine, I hope it's clear. If it is not clear, you can just check each and every line and understand it pretty nicely. Alright, so once that is done, well, everything is good to go. Let's check this out now. Okay, I have opened this up. This is the swipe one. If I tap on it, okay, I haven't given the functionality for that. Wait, I'll go to the direction model, and out here the swipe one I need to pass at first. Out here swipe directive, then I'll go to the home page HTML, and out here I haven't done anything, so I need to pass it out here. It will be yeah, app press, app swipe. So I'm getting already the suggestions. That's great. I'll use out here swipe will be equals to, or sorry, on swipe, and we'll pass this particular event, okay, in this particular manner. Now it is good to go. You can simply check this out here. Pretty much ready to work with. Let's try this out. So I'll simply swipe out here now. You can see direction x is showing up because I'm moving in x direction. Alright, so it is from right towards the right side. I'm moving, and it is showing up current time, current x, delta y, direction x, direction y is undefined because we are not moving in this particular direction, right? And the event is getting triggered, then the start time, end time, swipe type is also, and the type is also showing up. So all this stuff is needed, right? That is what we are getting while swiping. So this is the thing. And if I can swipe, let me clear it up. This was direction right? Let me just do this time from out here to here. You can see direction X is left this time because I'm moving from right to left. So left direction. Fine. So this is how it is showing up pretty nicely. Now if I just click on it, nothing is showing up. If I double tap on it, nothing is showing up. If I long press on it, nothing is showing, right? Only the gesture one will work out. Okay. Now if you want to work with all the gesture, double tap and everything out here in one particular button, you can simply pass out here. Let me just show you. Out here you can simply pass app, press, other stuff, same thing only. Alright, but I won't do it right now. Or should I show you one? Okay, let me simply copy this up. But you need to remember one thing, you cannot use press and swipe together. That will create a problem. Okay, it won't be able to detect properly, so don't use that altogether. Here I will simply paste. Okay, once I do that up, what I can do, if I just open it up, if I tap on it, it is getting triggered. If I double tap on it, it's not getting triggered. If I long press on it, it is not getting triggered, but the tap is getting triggered. On long press also you are tapping it once, right? So now I'll simply go for swipe, it is getting triggered, right? Out here it won't get triggered. In the long press, only the press one will get triggered because we are pressing for a long period of time while swiping also, right? So yeah, this is how it is working, the swipe one and the tap one also out here, pretty nice. Okay, so I'll just remove it. So this is how we can work with other stuff also if you want. Now if you want only one directive for all this stuff, that also can be done because we have all the materials that we need. So let me quickly create another directive and I'll name it as gesture. You can name it whatever you like. I'll create this. Once that is created, at first I will do it out here. I will export it so that I can use it in the home one. Alright, now I'll open this up and in here, well, I need to copy all the stuff which I have done till now, all the functionality. So let me just do it one by one, okay? Or all together I'll do it. I'll explain you up. It's the same thing. So out here, let me do it at first in this particular one. I will paste this. This is a swipe gesture, which I've given a type because this particular interface I'm going to create right now. And the whole stuff is being passed out here in the same manner. Now this is the input property. I'll show you why I'm doing that up. Don't need to worry. And these are the output one, like just like the earlier one. Okay, and I'll have this up. Since we are using everything all together, that is why gesture options, you can pass tap, swipe or double tap, whatever you want, you can pass it in this particular array. Okay, and you can even change this particular ones also out here. Fine, that is why it is being done in this particular manner. Now this whole thing is given a interface. Now in this interface, what am I going to have? All these properties can be defined out. So in out here, after this first import, let me paste it. Okay, so this is the thing. I'm having this particular interface where I'm passing name, which is of type gesture names, which I've already exported out here, created as a type, which will be holding tab, double tap value, press, swipe as a string. Okay, then the direction names, up, down, left, right, I've already explained you. Then the report interval, start, live, end. That's what we are going to have. That is why I've just given this up. Direction names will be an array that can be passed out. Alright, so this is the thing, pretty simple to understand, I suppose, because we have already implemented this up out here. But earlier one I have not given this one. This time I'm creating this because we will be needing to have the proper value. Without that also you can work with, not a problem, but I just want it. Okay, so once that is done, everything is good to go out here. Now what I need to do, I need to use ng on init also. So let me simply have this out here where it is, implements on init. Okay, import it. Once that is done, I will have out here the ng on init. Fine. Now at first I'm going to pass all the functionality whatever we have done earlier. So I'll just paste it out here, all of them. So reset tabs, you have already seen how we have done that up. Emit tabs, you have already seen. So this is the create gesture, you have already seen that, right? Handle pressing, you have already seen. For the press one we are using that up, right? Then handle moving also you have seen for the swipe one. Then this is the handle taps one. Okay, let me import it up. Alright, this is imported. Fine. And out here this is the press one. Fine. So this is how it's being done. All the functionality is the same one only. Just the alignment I have just given it differently. That's okay. You can just have the same alignment also if you want to, just like the one we have done earlier. Alright, now I need to pass these properties also. So let me just have it right now. So after these things, after the gestures, I will simply have few other properties. These are the properties which we have already used. Now there is one thing which I have added, which will be this directive gestures, where I'm passing all the gestures in this particular array one. Let me break it down for you to understand. I hope now it's clear. So all these gesture, whichever I'm creating, I'm just passing it directly out here. Alright, because we will be working with this particular directive gestures just to pass the value or the change the value in our home page. Whatever we want to use, we can use it up. We can change the interval also out there and everything with the help of, I'll show you how. So we need to now work with the ng on it. But before that, in our constructor I need to inject something. So this is the one that I need to inject. We break it down in this particular manner, okay, and import it one by one. Import it. This one also imported. Alright, now it's time to work with the ng on init. So in the ng on init, let me paste the code and I'll maximize it up so that you can understand. So out here, I'm having this particular directive gestures, which I'll filter it up and get the value. Now in that particular one, I'm simply going to find if the name is equals to only, that means I'm filtering only the name out here. Okay. Then I'm checking if the name is equals to name. Alright. In this particular gesture one, then I will map this up and set this particular gesture to enable. That means the name I will be passing out there. Say like I have passed tab. So it is going to check that particular name. So if that particular name is matching with this particular gesture one that we have passed in the directives gestures, because we are passing the whole object out there in an array, right? So it will be matched out there. If it is matching with the tap one, say like we are passing the tap gesture. So the tap gesture is matching, having a name of tap in the string manner. So if that name is matching, then the gesture of that will be enabled. And after that, the name, if the name is swipe, then we need to do something else. Otherwise everything is. So if it is swipe, then we are going to create a constant called swipe gesture options, where this dot gesture options, which is what is gesture options. This is the one gesture options, and we have already passed it out here where it is. Let me just show you. This is the one which we will be getting from the as an input decorator. It is being passed, and we will be getting as an input from that particular directive one where we will be using that up in that particular button one. I'll show you, don't need to worry. So let me just scroll down. So out there also I'll find if the name is swipe. If the name is swipe, then only I'm going to go ahead and work with this particular one. So this dot gesture dot direction, I'll pass the direction whether it is up to down or left to right. By default it is left to right, left and right, but still if something is passed out here or it is changed out here, then finally I'll create the gestures. That's it. That's what we have done earlier also. So it is pretty same. But one thing I have done out here, if you're using press and swipe together, if both of them are enabled together, then I'll send you a warning. Okay, and if the gesture options length is 0, that means there is nothing in the gesture options, then no gestures were provided, this particular warning. Now what actually it means, I'll explain you right now. So let's go to our home page, and out here what am I going to, well, let me copy all this stuff and then I will comment this up, because if you want to use this one, you can definitely use this up. You just do it again, move it up till here, comment it up, fine, and I'll paste it once again out here. Once I paste it again, this time what am I going to do, I'll not use this app tab, instead app gesture I'm going to use it up. Along with that, what am I going to do out here, this thing will be fine, but I'll add a simple stuff which is gesture options. Okay, this is the input one, you remember out there, and out here I'm passing in the array the tap one. Now along with the tab, if I want to use anything else, I can simply pass out here another object name double tap. That is the name that is being given out there. Alright, so in this particular manner you can simply pass it and it's going to work pretty nice. Alright, no errors as of now. So let's try this up. Okay, let me minimize it up. Now we are ready to test it. Alright, and I've opened this up also. So the buttons are changed now. Let me click on tap and you can see tap is getting triggered. Now I have double tap. What's wrong with double tap? It is not getting triggered. Why? Okay, I haven't called that up. So let me simply copy this up and I'll paste it out here. Now let's try it once again. I think this time it should work. Tap is working. Double tap, it's working now. Alright. And similarly out here, if I pass, let me pass another one, copy it up time, right? Alright. This time I will have the press one. Okay. You can even pass it in the TypeScript also and call it out there directly. Okay, you can just have that particular array one out here and use it directly. That's pretty fine, but I will do it directly from there. Minimize it, go to the HTML. So out here I pass press also. Let's check this one also. So what I'll do, I'll first check with tap, it's working. Double tap, working. Press, okay, press is not working. Why? Because I again missed out something. I need to pass the press out here. Event, so this event I need to pass it out here. Let me paste it. Fine, now it's going to work. So you need to be careful while doing this up. So I'll just click on this particular one, tap, double tap, long press, start and end. Alright, both are getting triggered, but I need to stop this start. So for that I'll go to the gesture directive and out here just scroll down for the press one. Where is it? Handle pressing. I'll not emit. Okay, now it's pretty okay. Let's go to our home page and try it once again. So I'll just tap, double tap, press, and one only getting triggered. That's pretty okay, right? So that is how it is working pretty nicely in one way. Now I'll show you the swipe one. It won't work. It will give me a warning. So let me copy this up. I will paste it out here. I'll change this to swipe. Now you will see this particular error message or warning on actually. So you can see directly the warning is coming up. Press and swipe should not be enabled at the same time. Now if you do that up, what happens? Let's check it out. So if I just tap out here, double tap, long press, swipe is getting triggered as press only. The swipe is not getting called. That is what it is happening. And if I swipe at first, then let's see what happens for press. Let's see what just want to check everything, how it is actually behaving, right? So tap, double tap, swipe. Again, the press one is getting called. So swipe will not get, okay. That is the warning that we were getting. Now what am I going to do? Let me maximize it up so that I can show you properly the code. And out here, what am I going to do? So you've understood how we can use all the things all together with the help of a single directive. I think that will be better by completely your choice which one you want to implement. I have shown you all the possible ways. Now what I'll do, I'll use a single one for a single button. Okay, so I'll just remove this up and we'll remove this one also. Alright, so out here I will be having the same thing only. Let's copy this. This is the thing only that will be getting changed. I'll paste it out here, change this to double tap. Instead of app press, I'll have the same directive, but this one will be press, and the last one will be, instead of app swipe, I will be having this particular one where I'll simply pass this particular swipe one. Alright, that's done. Pretty simple, right? So you can use it wherever you want in this particular manner. Let's check this out. Finally, how it behaves. So I have all the things out here. Let me just click on tap. It's working. Double tap, it won't work. Swipe, it won't work. Okay, now out here double tap, it's working. A single tap won't work. Swipe won't work. Out here long press, I click on it, press end, it's working. Then if I go for single tap, not working. Double tap, not working. Alright, the swipe one, if I just swipe it, you can see it is working out here. If I just click on it, not working. Double click, not working. But if I swipe it in this particular manner, I'm getting the direction change. Alright, this is how all the gestures are working pretty nicely. I hope you have understood this part. So this is the implementation that I want to do. I have shown you single way and all together also how it is particularly behaving. Alright, so you have seen what we have learned in this particular video. I hope this video is very helpful for you. And I have made sure that how much optimization can be done. I have applied all the things out there. So this is the thing that I have covered up in this particular video. So if you're new out here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't liked this video yet, if you think that this is useful for you, definitely hit the like button. And do check my course if you haven't checked it right now. So with that being said, let's wrap up this lecture out here. And I will see you next time.